Assalamualaikum everyone. This week's episode is going to talk about how to handle a overwhelmingly busy schedule. So this episode I know won't correlate with everybody. For some people it really will hit home and for some it won't. I just hope that whoever needs to hear it, inshallah, it helps them. Oh my goodness, because this episode, honestly, it is so hitting home because this has been my life very much recently. It has been even more heavier than it was ever before. And these tips and whatever I'm going to share, I haven't mastered them myself 100%. I'm definitely trying them. I'm definitely doing the best that I can. And I'm just hoping that inshallah I can help someone. So I don't know if this is just me, but y'all, does it feel like life's works are just not finishing? Like, even the stuff that you prioritize is just not finishing. And I feel like I'm gonna explain this for a bit because in the beginning, I'm a very time management person. I'm a very structured person. I don't do things on deadlines. I don't do things last minute. I'm not that person at all. I'm very, very organized. And that's just because I can't function any other way. But I don't think I even have words for how stressed it's been and how much anxiety inducing, if anything, and just overwhelming it's been when you are doing everything in your capability to time manage, to do everything. And you do see the barakah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given in your time and whatnot, and stuff does get done, but you feel like you're getting done with it. Like, because that is what life has been like. And this has been so prevalent that I felt like I don't even know what other podcast episode idea to talk about besides this because anything else would just not be hitting home the way this would. It feels like there's so much to be done now, and before we used to be like, oh, just do your priorities, and I agree you should, but it seems like now everything is becoming such a drastic priority that the only priority that is not being in the picture anymore is taking care of your health because it's just not physically possible. Like, nothing else is getting into the picture because there's so much already into the picture that has to be done that if you don't do it, you're going to face an immediate consequence for it. Or just so much already that it's just nearly impossible that to grow as a human being because you're having such a hard time just staying stable. You're having such a hard time just being there. And I feel like growing up, I've tried lots of different things when it comes to time management. And ultimately, what works best for me is I'm the type of person that I know some people agree with breaking off your tasks per day, and for some things I do that. So there's like a bunch of different areas, straight up areas of my life where I have to manage stuff. It's not just school and work and podcasts. It's, there's so many other things. So different areas require different planning, in my opinion, right? So like school requires some different things. You might need to go by day, you might need to go by week, or you might just have to write a to-do list and get it done. And then when it comes to Islamic knowledge and, getting those courses done and stuff like that, and those classes, and like, again, everything requires its own different set time and the way that you plan it. And for me personally, I'm the type of person that, like, for me, initially was always just throw everything on a to-do list. It has to be on paper, or it has to be on paper. And then, bam, like, we'll just get it done. But now it feels like everything is such a priority and it's literally drowning of a priority that nothing's cutting anymore. And in the very beginning, I felt like it was time management problem or as a me problem. And I feel like the best realization that I ever came to, quite honestly, it really wasn't a me problem. And I don't know who needs to hear that, but it really isn't a you problem. Lots of people that are telling you to work hard and hustle culture and grind culture and the third that you want to call it will always tell you that there's only 24 hours in a day, and if you're not getting ish done, it's your fault. But that's just not true, especially as a Muslim when you have so many other priorities, especially religiously, that you want to give your whole towards, not just your half sleepiness, half tired self to. I'm talking your whole towards. I'm talking about you religiously, spiritually trying to gain different certificates, gaining different knowledges, completing different courses, whatever it might be, gaining a higher Islamic knowledge and higher Islamic studies, and whether that is also going to school while you do all of this, trying to get internships, being in jobs, whatever. And the third, that excluding work, and then excluding the fact that you actually are a human being who needs to be taken care of, who needs to have time for themselves, who needs to have time to do utterly nothing sometimes to relax your overstimulated brain, who also has to take care of their family relationships and personal relationships in your life. This is a lot. And this is not in a way of saying to complain, but it's a lot, and this is the nature of the dunya. I was talking to my teacher yesterday, and I was taking class, and I was like, girl, it just feels like nothing's getting done. Like, give me a solution. And I was talking to her during our it was like an Islamic class. I was talking to her during it, and I was like, it just feels like nothing is getting done. Like, it feels like I'm just going and going and going, and I'm on a treadmill, and like, I'm grateful, but it just feels like I don't even have time to truly embrace my life and live in the moment and just feel to the fullest of me and feel what I'm involved in and around, because I can't enjoy anything because there's like this and this and this and this coming on to the next. And I was talking to her about it, and she was like, life literally feels the same for me too. And one of this within itself is such a big sign for the end times coming, because we always hear about how like the days will get so much more shorter, just time will period go so fast. And when we used to initially hear that before this era and before all of it really started happening, we used to think, how would that be? But you really see it now. You can have barakah in your time and you can have all those amazing things, but this is just one of those signs that things are going to go faster, right? And this was like a really heavy realization when I was talking to her, because it was something that really slipped my mind. Because in my mind, I always viewed it as this is a me problem, because everyone outside said, well, I'm not time managing correctly. But when you are a girl, especially when you're a girl, like there's just so much, especially your body demands so much time from you. You want to take care of your health. You want to make sure you're exercising. You want to make sure that you aren't running on a horrible sleep schedule, horrible pattern that will shake up just so many other things for you. Our bodies are very sensitive, and there's just so much more stress inducing crap, just doing too much, like too much. So there's a lot to take care of. And I feel like so many people that are like, well, wake up at 3 a.m. and go to the gym and do this and do that and the third. Like, I feel like so many people don't also recognize the fact that for some people, waking up that early most physically makes them sick, to the point that they can't do anything else for the rest of the day. It's very problematic. And I think it's so problematic because I never really recognized how much of a problem this was until like now. Because before, I kept this mindset that like, yeah, well, there's 24 hours in a day. It should get done. Ish gets done if you can get it done. That's it. But so many things are just out of your hand. Quite honestly, the amount of guilt that I have had to feel in this time frame, and again, this is not me complaining for my blessings, alhamdulillah, for everything Allah has given me. I'm just saying the feelings that I know lots of people might be feeling. The amount of guilt that you feel in this time frame when you aren't showing up for people because you can barely show up for yourself, and you have so many priorities, and you just want to keep taking small baby steps, and even the baby steps feel the heaviest. It's very hard. But one of the things that really changed my life was, y'all know how we say, oh, how am I supposed to be showing up for my family and supposed to be showing up for my friends and supposed to be, keeping good relationships, texting everyone back, hoping they're okay? How am I supposed to be getting good grades? How am I supposed to be showing up to class? How am I supposed to be making sure I'm still getting Islamic knowledge, praying 5 times a day? How am I supposed to continue my hifz journey? How am I supposed to continue doing this? How am I supposed to doing that? Whatever it might be. See that word supposed to? Just take it out. Garbage, rip it up, throw it away, done. The only supposed to should come when it's with deen, when it's with Islam related things, when it's with your relationship with Allah. That is the only supposed to. Everything else is not a supposed to. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have good relationships with your family, with your friends, and get good grades and whatnot. I'm not saying that, but I feel like coming to the fact that you're not a robot, right? You're definitely not a robot. You can't work on a minute by minute schedule, get up, do this, do that, and not have any sense of emotion that you aren't okay and that you're burnt out, right? You're not a robot. And you are definitely, you need a break. And more so importantly, this supposed to has to be done, dusted in the garbage, unless we're talking about deen. Because this supposed to is going to most literally kill you and run you over. There is a certain level of an expectation and a standard that you should keep for yourself. Nobody's saying that you shouldn't strive for excellence. You should. But there's a certain level of expectation that you should keep for yourself. And there's a certain level of expectation and understanding that you should also keep for yourself. As a human being, you should be good to those relationships around you. You should be good to your friends around you. Make sure you're doing the best that you can. Make sure you're treating people good and whatnot. But to some degree, you're going to have to cut yourself a little bit of lenience. And I know that people don't give that advice. They just say work harder. But you know what I've noticed? Have you ever noticed when you sit there and you say to yourself, okay, well, when this week passes by, it'll get better. When I overcome this day, when Tuesday goes by, it'll get better. When Thursday goes by, it's going to get better from here on out because next week it's going to be lighter. Well, when January really finishes, it's going to get better. Like, it's going to get better after January because in February, this, that. Then when February comes, it's like, no. I know the first 2 weeks of February are really like this, but like on third week, It's just gonna get better. Then after, it's like, no, when Ramadan comes, it's gonna get better. No, when Ramadan leaves, it's gonna get better after that. But do you see what's happening? It's always another time. You're not living at all. You're not happy at all. And I feel like I really hit this realization because I saw myself doing this for months where I was like, okay, no. It's going to get better after October. It's going to get better. It's going to get better after November. It's going to get better after December. I'm on break in December. It's going to get better. I'm on break and, we'll start fresh. And then January came. Oh, it's really going to get better after the first week of January. I'm just having a down crap. No, it's really going to get better after the second week of January. And that the problem is by better, we mean better in the sense that you are holding up and showing up to all those things that you thought you should show up for. But the problem is when you are setting such an unrealistic expectation to show up and be the complete, whole, happy, fullest of you in every single thing that you do, when you are not the complete, whole, happy, fullest you in you with yourself, how are you going to do it to other people? And I know that some people will be like, everyone says that, and it's true, but it's nothing far from reality. You can show up for everybody and show up for everything and still not feel like you're doing anything for yourself because you just feel like a robot who's having to do A, B, C, but you're nowhere in that. And that's just not how you were meant to live your life. Have you ever thought about some of the things that you wanted to do when you were little that you said you would do when you grow up? Oh, when I'm 20, I'm going to do this. And when I'm this age, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out all the time. I remember when I was little, I was like, oh, I'm going to be the most funnest person. I'm going to go all the time. I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm going to do whatever I want. Just whatever I want, however I want. I'm not going to take school that seriously. I'm not going to take work that seriously. I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to take care of my health. I'm not about to be sad about over nobody. Do you remember all those things that you said when you were little? And a lot of those things, honestly, they were quite right. And if you tried to do so many of those things now, you would be happier. Happiness does not always come from what you get done. It does not always come from keeping yourself busy to get ish done. Happiness honestly sometimes comes from just doing the things that you love and praying 5 times a day, reading Quran, and religious duties, whatever it might be. This is something that should never be a next week thing. It should never be that I'm going to read Quran next week. I'm going to officially start praying next week. I'm going to officially start praying 5 times a day next week. I'm going to officially start doing this next week. Hell no. You can literally die at any given time. And I feel like I don't even know how unsettling and that just feels wrong and just so awkward because it's so heavy. But I wish I could tell you guys in the past few days, so many people have died that I have personally heard about. And it has blown my mind. Some people that are so incredibly knowledgeable that actually not a lot of people know. And it's so beautiful how some of the most knowledgeable people, when they die, we might not know them in their lifetime, but when they die somehow, it's like everybody's making dua for them. Even if you don't know this person, even if you've never heard a lecture of them a day in their life, even if you don't know what they look like, you don't even know their name, but somehow you're reading salah and you remember this person, you're like, oh, let me just make dua for them. Isn't it kind of insane how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes that happen? Isn't it insane how you remember those people while you're making dua, even if you've never known them? And it just blows my mind. And I pray Allah loves those people deeply, but if you truly think about it, it isn't necessarily about how much clout or fame you have on social media. It's about having Allah love you. And when Allah loves you, He puts the love of you in other people's hearts as well. You could be making dua for people you've never met. You don't even know what exactly they mean to you. You're just like, oh, I'll make dua for them. Because every time you're about to pray, they come to your mind. Isn't that beautiful? Some people that I know that have died have been so incredibly young. Between like 9 to 12. And that's like literally the age of my younger brother. And like I think about these things and it blows my mind because it can literally be anybody. Y'all know how they say death does not discriminate? It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Do you not think that some of those people had to-do lists and stuff that they wanted to do? Of course they did. But at the end of the day, the root and most important thing to remember is that utterly everything you are going so crazy to do to get done will not even care about you when you die. The only thing that will actually matter is what you did religiously, which leads me to my first point. My first tip. Do you guys remember how before there used to be this concept of taking a day off, for some people even taking a weekend off? We have got to bring that back. There is a severe problem where this has completely diminished from the scene and it's been an issue. Previously, people used to take Sundays off from doing utterly anything, work, job, school, whatever, and then that is just gone now. Before, it used to be straight up weekends. Like Friday used to roll around, people are like, oh, so excited for Saturday, Sunday to just reset, recharge, go out, hang with my friends, do what I want. And that's gone now. Even if you work a job and you're not clocking in on those hours, you have work that you still have to do. So you're like, oh, I'll just do it on Sunday, I'll just do it on Saturday. Or if you are a student in school, it's like sometimes the only time you really get is the weekends to do your work. But at the same time, you could be working all week and it's just so much. I'm telling you, if you are desiring some type of results in your life, some positive results, some results of healthy change, not just within you, but in all the things that you're involved in, for the love of God, take a day off. And this is one of the first things that I've been trying to do. When I'm recording this, it is the month of Rajab, right? It is very, very close to the time of Ramadan soon. And they say that Rajab is the time of planting the seeds that you want to see in your upcoming months. This is the time that you plant your seeds. And so it is so important that you take some time out, even if it's 5 minutes, in your phone notepad, or it could just be on a piece of paper. I took some time out, took a piece of paper, and I wrote down all of the things that I felt like were important or seeds that I wanted to plant. And I'm trying my best to plant those seeds. And a lot of times we just make religious goals, which is great and you should. But some of the best goals that you can also make are to improve your own health. And that can portray and help you have such a better relationship with God in unimaginable ways. So one of the big seeds that I've planted has been to not work anymore on Sundays. Done. Like nothing. Sundays are for doing nothing. And I don't give a flying crap what anybody says. The problem is with this type of lifestyle where you have an overwhelmingly busy schedule, if you have something that you can take out to make it less overwhelming, you definitely should. But if you are someone that you can't and you're stuck in this, whether that's, school for the upcoming 4 years or this or that you're bound to for the upcoming few years, some things you can't just run out of and leave, right? And if you have stuff on your plate that you just can't give up, things that are just not that easy for you to run away from, it's time to live with them, but it's time to live with them in a healthy way, because you are living through these things for the upcoming year, and you do not want these things to be the same thing that just eats you alive. Done. You are going to grow as a human being while you accomplish these tasks, while you accomplish whatever that is you're doing. And you deserve to not leave your entire life on pause. I remember at one point I used to think to myself, well, once I graduate, I'm going to be like a breath of relief. I shouldn't have to restrict my entire life for the upcoming years for once I graduate, because there's always something. Once you graduate, then it becomes, I need to find a job. And once you get your job, it's, oh, I have to prove that I'm this and that and this and that, and I have to work like this and I have to there's always something in life. How much longer are you going to torture yourself? I feel like this was genuinely issues that I had to ask myself. It is such a big difference between being overwhelmingly busy and just having ish to do in your day. Because when you're overwhelmingly busy, it's like you have no time to even literally look at yourself in the mirror. And that type of schedule is very unhealthy. I'm going to be honest. If you can take stuff out, you should. And that's also another one of my tips. If you can take stuff out, you should. There is nothing wrong with saying no to some things. There is nothing wrong with saying no to showing up to certain events, certain places, certain things to make yourself feel better. There is nothing wrong with that. I remember when I used to think, like, oh my God, wait till I, turn 19, 20, whatnot. Like, I'm going to be going out every night. I'm going to be doing this, hanging out with my friends. Dude, you know what the best nights for me are? I wish I could lie to y'all and say that I'm joking when I say this, because I'm gonna sound like such a grandma. But the best nights for me is when I am at home, I clean my room, I light up my candles, I have my air fresheners going, we do a skincare routine, wash our hair, do a whole hair care routine, put on your favorite PJs, and go to bed. Read a book. Watch a nice Islamic video. Maybe just get to scroll on Twitter, dude. Like, oh my God, just the sound of it sounds so good to me right now. Like, do you understand how fun that is? And I know that I sound like someone's 35-year-old mother. I'm sorry. But like, as you get older, you really just desire peace. You desire to talk to people. I remember when I was younger, when I was like 14, 15, calling my best friend didn't seem like the most miraculous, funnest thing to do. I loved talking to her. I had fun talking to her. But it wasn't something that I was like, dude, I just want to get in my bed, call her, have a good. It wasn't something like that. And now that I'm older, like that's genuinely something I look forward to. Like at the end of the night, just being like, hey, you want to call? And just talking to people. And not forcing it either. Which leads me to my number 3, I believe, because the first one was make sure you take Sundays off. 2 is make sure that you lower things if you can. Number 3, for the love of God, keep people around you that actually understand what you're going through. You are going to lose so many people when you are actually living a purposeful life and chasing your goals. And I understand that you can try to your best ability to maintain those relationships, and you should. But to some degree, some people who don't live an overwhelmingly busy schedule like you won't actually understand what you're going through. They will just see it as, oh, well, you can't time manage. Oh, you're always busy. Or they'll take it as personal and say, you're just treating me like this. You're just like this to me. Or everything you're doing is a lie or an excuse. They'll start seeing it like that. And honestly, you don't got that type of time in the day to prove yourself. You really don't. I know I don't. Like when someone starts to take ish personal after I've genuinely sat down and talked to them about so many of the things I'm going through, and you feel like it's just a whole me against you type of ish, I'm like, I just go. Because there's only so much that you can do to save certain relationships. Certain relationships that are worth saving will be saved, not just by you, but by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but by the fact that they're meant to be. But some people are just committed to misunderstanding you, and they're committed to waiting to watch you slip and fall so they can have an excuse to leave your relationship. Please be careful of people that are looking for an excuse to watch you slip and fall, point the blame at you when they were waiting the entire time to leave. Because those people exist, and so many people have a lot of those people in their circles and they don't know it. And I've noticed this a lot among girls, where some girls might not like other girls. And I don't get this about girls. Why don't y'all just stop being friends with one another if you don't like each other? Like, you don't even have to go through all that drama crap. Y'all just be throwing in the drama just to throw in the drama. And then y'all like, well, I hate drama. Don't be in it then. Don't entertain it. Whatever. Girls have a problem where if they don't like to be friends with a girl, they'll continue to be friends with her. Why? I don't freaking know. It doesn't make any sense. I hate that ish. I don't do it. If I feel like you're not my person, I'm just, that's just done. I literally do not keep friends around me that at the slightest are negative or bring me low iman or do not benefit me in my iman. Not at all. Because there's no point in me keeping you around. If you're going to tank my mood, make me feel like a negative person, lower my iman, and not benefit me in my akhirat in a good, positive way, what's the point of me having you around? And by benefit, I don't mean benefit in the sense of what can you do for me. It means who is that person that genuinely when you talk to them reminds you of Allah. It reminds you of the fact that I have to pray today. It reminds you of the fact that, oh, I have spiritual and religious goals that I want to get done. Like, that is a very big, beautiful reminder within itself. And it's like, if you are around people that are just bringing drama, bringing this, did you see what this person did? Like, you're not adding any value in my life. I'm busy as it is. Why the hell you tell me about what some person 3 down the blocks is doing? I could barely figure out what I'm doing in my own goddamn room. Like, hello. So please, for the love of God, keep good people around you. You're gonna go berserk trying to manage the overwhelmingly amount of things in your life and then dealing with the negative crap that people are telling you. Please keep good people around you, people that understand what you're going through, people that understand your goals, and people that understand why you're doing what you're doing. And if you don't have people like that around you, it's genuinely better to be alone. Seriously, it is so much more better to be alone and deal with the crap that you're going through as compared to dealing with the crap that you're going through and dealing with the crap that the people give you. Please lower your burdens. This refers to my other point where just empty out your plate. Lower your things that are in your life, that are surrounding you. The best way to add to your life is to subtract from it sometimes. Subtract that crap out. Get rid of it. Divide it. Multiply it. I don't freaking know. PEMDAS it. Cancel it out. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. You literally do not need it. Your life is going to be so much more peaceful. It's going to be so much more peaceful because you don't have to deal with some person saying that they're trying to take it all personal when, you explain to them why stuff is the way that it is. Again, I'm not saying to be a horrible friend and not show up. You should. But some people genuinely just want to see you fall. And the second that they see you doing better than they are, they start to take it mad personal. So they want to find any single way, any dimension to have you down. I don't feel like a lot of people really know how many people are in their circle that don't actually want to see them win. There's so many people that are around you that might not actually want to see you do better. They want to see you do good, but not better than them. They want to see you be successful, but not more successful than them. And you have got to get rid of those people. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you and He gives you what is for you, no one can take that away from you. And you don't want some jealous, hating person in the corner trying to run up their ish about it. It's not your concern. And you shouldn't have to deal with that. Especially not now. Especially when you have so much on your plate. But that is that. My next point that I would recommend. Make talking to Allah throughout this time frame a very consistent thing. And by talking to Allah, of course, I mean that you should do dua and you should pray and whatnot, but genuinely talking to Allah with absolutely no direction in times when you don't usually feel like you don't. Maybe like you have your few down spare moments, do it then especially. Obviously, you should do it whenever you can, but like when you're driving, when you're just driving home, just talk to God. It really changes your life. Just talking to Allah sometimes. Make sure that you are talking to Allah about all the things in the day that are stressing you out. All the things that you were just so angry about, upset about, talk to Allah about them. Don't just bottle them up inside. It's not going to help you. It's not going to make you feel any better. You're going to feel worse overall. Keeping those things, dealing with the next one, it's all going to pile up and it's not going to help you feel any better. My next point is try to make your blessings more heavier, more talked about, and more focused on than all the things that you're complaining about. And I know that might sound quite basic, but it's very true. If you are complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining, you are complaining about something so much more than the blessing that you have, you're going to forget you have blessings. You really will. I know so many people that are like, no, I won't, but like, just for a second, think about it. If I keep talking about something over and 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 over again, I'm not going to get over it. I'm bringing it up over and over and over and again. I'm feeling all those emotions over again. I'm feeling all that betrayal, that hurt, that heartbreak, this, that, whatnot, and third, over again. If I'm reading sad quotes, reading sad things, reading sad social media posts, it's not helping me. What you focus on really does grow. And so if you need to start talking more about your blessings, the same way that you are constantly complaining. You see the frequency of your complaining? Make that the frequency of you talking about your blessings. That, wow, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me this. That I have this. That I have the ability to do this. That I'm a part of this. God blessed me enough with this. Start being more freaking grateful, dude. Stuff really does get better when you start being more grateful. Because your life, especially when you're someone who has an overwhelmingly busy schedule, is going to go on in a type of way. That doesn't mean you wake up every morning feeling sulkish and sad. It's not normal. I'm telling you, it's not normal. I used to wake up almost every morning feeling sulkish and sad. And I was like, why do I feel this way? Then it really wasn't until, a few years back when I really truly started to understand how Allah does not change the condition of anyone until they change the condition of themselves. And I started to become so much more grateful for everything that life changed. Waking up feeling sulky and sad and depressed and not wanting to take on the day is not normal. It's not a good feeling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala woke you up today. He knows that there's something out there for you, and you should go out there doing it in your full capability and the best way that you can. You are not going to be able to show up for everything in the most perfect way possible. Get rid of supposed to if it does not pertain to your akhirat. Get rid of it. You can't do everything. And when you come to the term that you can't and you start cutting yourself more lenience, you actually become even more successful. Because when you fail or when you're not doing as good or when things are going bad, instead of wasting time being hard on yourself, instead of wasting time regretting it, being angry, being mad, being upset, you're going to be like, look, it's fine, it happens, and you're going to move on. You are not a failure because you failed once. You are not a loser because you lost once. You are not incompetent because you had a hard time once. Not everything is hard because one thing is hard. Okay? Stop letting the frequency of bad things become more common than it actually is. Something bad can happen once in our day and we will say the entire day was bad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you like 700 blessings throughout those days of so many different things that you did not even notice, but that one bad thing was just enough for it to weigh out everything. And it was enough because you made it enough. Whatever you focus on grows. And if you decide that the blessings Allah has given me is sufficient and enough for me today, and this is what I'm going to focus on, then it is sufficient and enough for you. But if you think that that one bad thing that happened is sufficient and enough for you to focus on, then that's what you're going to focus on, and that's all that you're going to have. It's not necessarily always going to be easier when it comes in regards to such a busy schedule. And that is a reality that I've just come to. At first, I ran from this reality a lot. I've tried so many different time management things. From 90-minute sessions, 2-hour sessions, doing different things, setting up different times in my days, trying those different things that people say online that work, trying different habit apps, and some of them did work, but at the same time, just a bunch of stuff, trying so many different things, trying different-ish, trying this, trying that. Oh, do I work better at this time? Do I work better before the deadline? Do I work better 1 week before the deadline? Do I work better like this? How can I memorize this? I've done it all. I really have. Because when you have so much on your plate that you're managing alone, you end up trying so many different ways and thinking, well, maybe this will help. Well, maybe this will help. Ultimately, at the end, nothing really helps except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep a plan. If you are someone who has an overwhelmingly busy schedule, I'm assuming that you have tried already some things. You have tried to have a plan. You have tried to have to-do lists to get ish done, to be organized, to do all that. I'm assuming you've done those things, right? And if you haven't, then you definitely need to start there. You've got to start, making a to-do list, updating your calendar, putting stuff in, being organized. It's part of the process. It's part of changing your condition. It's part of trying to receive that barakah, that you are trying your best to set up your schedule in a way that you are still doing your prayers, reading your Quran and whatnot. It's important. But at the same time, if you've done all those things and you're managing, you're getting by, but you're not happy, it's time to make a shift on what you are focusing on, because it doesn't always get any easier sometimes. It really doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't always get easier. Sometimes it stays this way, but you become more resilient, and that's what you need right now. To become more resilient, to become more stronger, but to become more softer to yourself on how you treat yourself. It's gonna get worse if you keep pinpointing yourself. There were so many times when I used to talk to one of my friends, and this friend of mine, she's so incredibly laid back. Every time I talk to her, she's like, Hira, it's fine. Life moves on. We'll be okay. And talking to her really imprinted this in my mind, because so many times we worry about things like this and this and this and this, and it's like, hold on, you're not even there yet. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. I know it feels like the entire world is collapsing on you and that there's so much to do, and maybe you're even struggling with depression and you can't get out of bed in the morning. I know that it feels like there's so much to show up for. But the most important thing to show up for is for God. When you make Allah your only worry, everything else sorts out on its own. Does that mean it's always gonna be easy? No. Does that mean your busy schedule is just gonna vanish out of thin air? No. But over time, what you focus on changes, and that's all you need. A shift in focus. This is about being realistic. If you were to listen to some other advice, people would say, no, empty out that busy schedule, empty it all out. You should never be overwhelmed. You should never feel anxiety. In a perfect world. But that's just not how this world works. Some people are not just carrying the responsibility themselves, they're carrying the responsibility of their family. They're carrying the responsibility of so many people around them, or they carry the responsibility of a sick parent, or a parent that is having a hard time physically, that can't do certain things anymore, or taking care of their grandparents, or whatever it might be. Some people are not just carrying their own weight. They're not just carrying their own school, their own work, their own this. They're carrying other people's weight too. And it's so tone deaf, and it makes me so mad when people want to say ish like, oh, well, there's 24 hours in a day, you should get it done. Shut up. Shut up, for the love of God, please just be quiet. Sometimes I just want to be jumping into these screens and grabbing these hustle culture folks and just tearing them. Because be quiet. I feel like it's so tone deaf to say ish like that. Because some people can't even make ends meet within themselves. They're trying to take care of elderly, sick people around them, or people that have no one else to rely on except them. What do you want to say to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, just settle in. Just think about it. And then people want to, be very incredibly mean and rude to them, saying, oh, you're treating me like this. Or their friends want to take it all personal when they aren't showing up, for them. But at the same time, like, they're trying to carry the weight of their family. They're trying to carry the fact that they have to do stuff back for their parents, that they have to owe their parents back something, or that they are trying to live up to an expectation that is very incredibly hard on them, or that they're taking care of someone who is physically sick. They're trying to take care of, some people have grandparents that are literally suicidal. People don't talk about that. I know some people whose own parents are suicidal, whose own parents are most literally done, like they are through with life and they are at their blinking point. I know somebody who was a very, very sweet person growing up, and I don't know them too deeply personally, but they became very successful, started working at a hospital. Life was going smooth for them, but they just collapsed. Like, they collapsed with all the pressure of everything around them. That pressure was so bad that the only thought they had was, I don't want to do this anymore. They had kids, they had everything with them as well. They had a happy relationship, happy everything, but the collapse was just so bad that it became that I don't want to do any of this anymore. They quit their job and then they went back home to join a Tablighi Jamaat, and then they went there, and then they changed their entire life through that. They spent that time with God, and sometimes that's really all you need, to spend that type of time with God. Now, I'm not saying, oh, y'all gotta quit your jobs and go back home, but if you're going, take me with you. But anyway, even I'll come even if I've never been there. I will say that I'm from your place, but even if I'm not, it's fine. Just take me with you, please. But it's unrealistic. Not all of us can do that, right? I mean, if you can, that'd be so cool. Take me with you, like I said. But I could fit in a suitcase. I really can. I'm not that tall. Can we talk about this one-on-one? We can. But if you can, you should, obviously. But realistically, not all of us can do that. But after he came back, he really was so much more better, and he's thriving in his life now, alhamdulillah. May Allah keep him that way. But it happens to a lot of people, and this overwhelmingly busy schedule, it's gonna eat you. It's gonna hurt unless you learn to control it. Spend time with God. Spend time in God's love for you. God loves you so immensely. Allah loves you more than you love yourself. And I always love to say that to people, because we love ourselves a lot. We try our best to love ourselves a lot. We try to show up for ourselves. We try to take care of ourselves. We try to set ourselves up for success. And there's this beautiful analogy that if your parent was to write your entire story, if your mother was to write your entire story on how she wanted you to live your life, most likely she would write the most successful one. She would want you to have no hardship, no trouble, no hard time. She would want you to have a successful job, have a successful family, have a successful home. She would want the best for you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you more than your own mother loves you. So deep that. You might be going through ish right now that feels like it's the end of the world. But if Allah loves you more than your own parents can love you, Allah definitely loves you more than you love yourself. Think about what Allah has in store. Start to love what Allah loves for you, and start to love whatever plan God has for you. I'm not saying that the busy, overwhelming schedule is something good to have. You should definitely reduce it and take care of your health. Your health matters more than anything. When you are sick and you are physically incapable of doing all of those things, nothing will matter to you except your health. In that moment, all you will want back is your health. And I'm telling you from someone who at one point has faced lots of different things. In that specific moment, you just think to yourself, I don't give a crap about anybody or anything. I just want my health back. Because it was such a big blessing that I took for granted. I was complaining that I was busy and I was this and I was that. I wasn't taking care of myself. And in that moment, all you can say is, I just want my health back. Please take care of yourself. There's only one you. And I know that you have so many other expectations and peoples and stuff that you're living up for, but there's only one of you. And it's not your job to carry everything. It's your job to try to do whatever you can. Get rid of supposed to. The only supposed to should be when we're talking about our deen and with our relationship with Allah. Anyway, I hope that some of these points were actually useful, inshallah, and I got my vent across. For the love of God, stop working on Sundays. You need a day off to just do you. To let out your creative outlets, to let out the stuff that you love, to do what you love, okay? And you can listen to me on Sundays too. Yeah, that's a good idea. You should put me somewhere in your Sunday, or your Saturday, or your Friday, or your Monday, or your Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I have enough episodes for you to listen to me every day of the week, okay? So get to it. Anyway, not pressuring you. Might be, whatever. I hope you take care of yourself. Sending love. Please actually take care of yourself and your health. Go do the things for yourself that you've been thinking about doing that you haven't had time to do. You deserve to go do them for yourself. Okay? Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum.